Red FM.
I think the boys have played very well. They showed a hunger there, and particularly, I suppose, the 2 wins away from home, particularly in Scotland. Going to Scotland is always a tough place, but to come away with a win against Edinburgh and even a bonus point win against Glasgow was fantastic.
Yeah, and obviously the results have been perfect so far in the Magners League, but in terms of performance, have you been happy enough as well?
Yeah, certainly the performance has been good. There's I suppose there's certain things that we would look to have defence and set piece and stuff like that. But whatever, no matter how well you play or no matter who you're playing against, you always have to look at yourself. You always have to try to better yourself as a team. I think Munster have done that this year. And the one thing they've done is, I suppose, taking every game as it comes, because you can't look too far down the road. Maybe this time last year we were playing very well, and at the same time, come to business into the season, we were top 4 in the Magners League and the Highland Cup, but it just didn't work. So hopefully this year we can build slowly and hopefully keep the momentum going right through the season.
Yeah, absolutely, Mick. And I suppose the only downer so far really has been the injuries, especially from last week against the Ospreys. Dennis Fogarty, Ian Dowling, and Felix Jones, I suppose, is the one everybody was most disappointed to see. He was playing very, very well so far since coming back from that injury last season, and it looks like he's going to be on the sidelines again for quite a while. Yeah,
unfortunately for Felix, that's the way it is. He could be out for a number of months. Bad knee injury. We saw how exciting he was, particularly I suppose in the pre-season matches and all the matches he's played so far. He's put a new emphasis into the Munster backline. But there are things you have to deal with. The other one is Ian Dowling. He's got a hip injury which could keep him out for a while. And Dennis Fogarty, obviously, he's again, he was playing fantastic. Even the night, before his operation, he played very well. So it's always disappointing to lose players like that. And of course, there's long-term injuries there in the likes of Jerry Family, Paul O'Connell and Keith Earls. But I suppose that's part of the professional game, and I suppose we're lucky that we have a lot of young players that were involved in the British and Irish Cup last year, and they'll have their opportunities. So there's a big squad of players there. Of course, you never want to see injuries, but it's always an opportunity for the younger players to take a claim on the team.
Yeah, you must be pretty happy with how those young guys have done so far, Mick. I mean, I suppose a lot of people asked questions last year about Munster and if the young guys were actually there, but so far from what we've seen this season, it looks like they are. I mean, especially guys like Peter O'Mahony have really made a good impression when they've come in so far this season.
Yeah, Peter's been excellent. Just to name one, and they all have been excellent. I suppose I think there's a myth out there that Munster don't have strength and depth. But look, if you look at the results of the Munster A team last year in not only in the provincials and in the British and Irish Cup, we were only beaten in one game, and that was the final, unfortunately. And so far this year, the A team have been playing as well, and they've had big wins over Leinster and Ulster. So the strength and depth is there. Anthony Foley is I suppose it's great to see Anthony Foley being part of that Munster A management as well as being part of the senior management, because it's a natural flow, and being involved in both managements, he can see what's going on. So the structures are good there, but the strength and depth is there. There's no doubt about that. There's a myth out there that it's not there, but believe me, there's great young fellas coming through, and it all augurs well for the future of Munster rugby.
Yeah, absolutely. And just reflecting briefly, Mick, on the Glasgow game on Friday night, you mentioned it there earlier on, a very, very strange game. To concede 26 points in the first half was obviously hugely disappointing, but in the second half performance, he must have been very, very pleased.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Look, again, it's always tough when you're away from home, and I think we showed a lot of composure. We were down 10-0 at the start, came back to lead, and then obviously we're down again at half time, and then we're down by 9 points. But I think we played all the rugby in the second half. We scored a couple of tries. Ron O'Gara had a fantastic game. We only conceded 3 points, and I think that's the true reflection of the team. And to do that away from home is always going to be very tough. So we would have taken an awful lot out of Friday night's match. But I suppose the one thing, the other thing I suppose you have to take out of it too is like, how come we were down 10 points, and how come we had so many scores in the first half, and that's something we'll have to work on this week.
Yeah, and you had a few guys coming in for their first starts of the season on Friday night as well, Mick. David Wallace included, Lefemi Maffey as well, and as you mentioned, Ronan O'Gara kicking 23 points. He looks like one for the future.
Certainly, yeah. He's an up and up and coming young fella, but
Yeah.
no, in fairness, Ronan has been down around a long time now, and he's one of the seasoned campaigners, and whatever about the young fellas coming through, it's always very heartening to see your senior players playing well, because they lead by example. Ronan would be one of the senior players in the squad over the last number of years, and I suppose it's everybody knows when Ronan plays well, Munster play well, and I think that's the way it is. It's also great to see David Wallace and Lefemi Maffey back from injuries. Also, it's great. It's great to have that experience in the squad, and it keeps everybody on their toes.
Yeah, no, looking ahead to next week onwards, Mick, I'd imagine the intensity in the camp will step up quite a bit now, because you've got Leinster coming up on Saturday evening, and then the two Heineken Cup games as well. But just looking first at the Leinster game, not a great start to the season for them. Obviously very difficult circumstances with a new coach coming in and that, but 1 win from 4 in the Magners League. Have you been surprised with their poor start?
Well, yeah, I suppose, like, by their own standards, they will be very disappointed. You know what I mean? Because particularly playing, having lost 4 games for them is a big blow, or lost 3 out of 4 for them is a big blow. But it's early days. I think once we went through a bad patch as well last year, particularly away from home, and I suppose it swings around about really. But at the same time, Leinster, they're a class outfit. They've been one of the most consistent sides in Europe, particularly over the last couple of years, and like they've beaten us in the last 4 times on the bounce. So, I wouldn't doubt their pedigree for 1 minute. They'll come back. They have the talent there, and we've all been down that road. We've always. Every team kind of goes through a stage where that maybe they should be winning games that they're losing, but at the same time, class will always come through, and I've no doubt that Leinster will come bouncing back.
Yeah, and Munster will go into this game obviously as the form team, but in a sense, games like this, these derby games, form does go out the window, doesn't it?
Certainly does, yeah. Form goes out the window, and I suppose it's one of the great things that has come from the amateur from thing in the whole lot. That Munster and Leinster clashes are always great days out. Munster or Leinster have won the last 4, like that speaks for itself. That they're the team to be beaten. We can all go back to I think the semi-final of the Heineken Cup the year before last, where Munster were probably playing the best rugby of their lives. When we beat the Ospreys in Thomond Park, Leinster barely scraped through Harlequins away from home, and yet they hammered us in Croke Park. So you never take anything for granted. These games are always big games. It's a huge ask for Munster. Leinster, I suppose, to take it out of the RDS. We're playing in the Aviva, and certainly Leinster, they're hoping to make that their new home. They certainly won't want to lose their first game in the Aviva, but it's going to be a great occasion. It's going to be a huge match. But again, Munster has to be professional about it. We have to deal with it like any other game, and hopefully go up there and give a good account of ourselves.
Yeah, and obviously, Mick, all the focus this week is on Leinster, but just looking a week or two down the line, it's the start of the Heineken Cup campaign. You've got Toulon in your first home game, but first up it's away to London Irish. That is an absolutely massive challenge. They're top of the Premiership in England at the moment, and they were very, very impressive yesterday, running in 6 tries and hammering Newcastle, really.
Yeah, I watched them yesterday against Newcastle. They were very impressive, I must say. They're the one thing they do is they play the full width of the pitch. You see particularly, you see the match yesterday, but the wingers were running in tries for fun, and that's what they'll do. And if you give them space, they'll certainly punish you. But they are on merit the best side in England at the moment, and it's going to be a huge ask for Munster. Like, the next 3 weeks are going to be phenomenal. The next 3 weeks can define your season, and that's how fickle this whole professional game of rugby is. If to lose those 3 games, you could technically be out of everything. So it's a huge few weeks for Munster. But again, we'll take every game as it comes. I know we've Ospreys in after that, but realistically, you have to take one game at a time. But hopefully we'll get through. Hopefully we won't have any injuries, and hopefully the boys can keep up the form that they've shown at the start of the season.
Well, Mick Galwey, always an absolute pleasure to talk to you. Thanks a million for joining us here on Red FM.
Thank you, Paul. Pleasure.